just today I was watching just a small clip from the Joe Rogan Experience. He's interviewing Tulsi Gabbard, and they're talking about the dynamics in Ukraine with Russia, what's happening with the U.S., and the military-industrial complex, and the money that's being made from that, and the fact that despite the potential consequence of having a nuclear war, the U.S. continues to ship money to Ukraine to help fund them, even though there's this snowball effect that's gonna take place, and that nuclear war is an increasing possibility. And then Rogan says something interesting.
Where we're going to be
do you think,
in the event that this kicks off.
Do you think that whoever the powers that be and whatever the influence is from the military-industrial complex, that they are trying to prolong this in order to profit? So they're trying to continue to fund Ukraine. This gives them an excellent reason to ramp up budgets and keep shipping over weapons and arms. They keep making more and more profit and just get us right to the point where it gets squirrely. Well, Putin won't do it. He won't do it. He won't do it. But if he does it, there's no pulling back from that. And the only reason why we would ever get to that point is because people are trying to make more money.
He's talking, of course, about nuclear war, right? The potential of having it happen. What I would like to say, what I would like to encourage any viewer to do is to pay attention to the number of times in news, in movies, in comic books, in literature, right? In podcasts. Anytime you hear, some situation that's being muddled up or being, potentiated or becoming dangerous because of the financial incentive, just make a mental note. Just, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one. Okay. If you were to take a tally every single time you heard of some situation with pharmaceuticals or with the war in Ukraine or with your own local government, right? City and county governments. If you just continued to just make a quick little tally every time something came up where the financial incentive has caused a problem, has caused people to go astray or to perform something, perform some act that is generally considered immoral or dangerous or potentially hazardous to the community, you will be dumbfounded at the end of the day by how many tally marks you will have. It is increasingly difficult to listen to the morning news because it's always, I can't get through my 5 morning news programs that are 10, 15 minutes each without at least bumping up against some issue where the financial incentive is causing a problem. Now, especially given the second newscast I listen to is a cybersecurity podcast, which, the whole thing surrounding cybersecurity is the drive to acquire wealth through manipulating other people, through hacking into their systems, holding their data for ransom. My point is, there's always something. Always something. So let me pose a question. Given the number of times that you are just simply pay attention to it, just simply be aware of it, and after you hear about the situation, think, okay, we have this situation, and it's come about because of the financial incentive, okay? But what would it take to fix it? What are we doing to fix it? How much energy, how many resources, how much money is going to have to go in to solve this problem, if it is even potentially solvable? And if it's not, how many more resources, how much more money, how much more energy is going to be wasted because of this continued abuse of the financial incentive? This is, among several other avenues, one of the many that is directly responsible for the increase in entropy when you are using a currency-based economy. What I mean by that is small scenario, okay? Somebody goes to the store, steals an apple, all right, walks out. They get caught, okay? 80-cent apple, 80-cent, crispy Honey Crisp or whatever, right? They get caught. They call the cops. Cops come down, write him a ticket, arrest him, whatever. That 80 cents for that one apple versus the amount of energy that was spent tracking this person, watching them, stopping him as he's trying to get out of the store, calling the cops, having them come all the way down to the store, writing a ticket, all the time it's spent for them to complete their job. And even if it turned into an arrest, right? The time and energy spent arresting him, taking him down to the local jail. And then, of course, all of the it's just like this domino effect of just shit that happens when there is, a need that is not being met because of the blockade of our current economic situation, right? Everything is behind a paywall. So if you are lacking money and you have a need, you can't fulfill that need without taking a risk or two. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. You can either beg for it, right? But there's only so much you can do where, stealing a loaf of bread is the least of your concerns at that point. The very existence of the financial incentive is such that every single time it is abused or misused, it causes a cascade of events that cost much more energy, much more money, much more resources than it really should. If a farmer just caught some kid walking by, grabbing an apple, he'll probably get a little scolding and, okay, fine, fuck it, have the apple, see ya, bud. But if you just take an apple from a grocery store, oh man, it's a whole fucking cacophony of amplifying the entropy. Did you see what I'm saying? Every time you break from the rhythm of the system, the very strict, predefined supposed rhythm of the system, every time you break from it, you cause a cascade of events that amplifies the entropy because it's an increase in energy usage, it's an increase in product usage, it's an increase in time, temporal usage, monetary usage, material usage, everything. It's just like you have this instantaneous cascade of just quickening the entropy. And to think that this happens all the time. So if you were to equate the amount of energy and materials and even space, right? The space taken up by a car as they're driving down the street, right? If you were to calculate the value of everything that is wasted on trying to affect or trying to solve one of these little, missteps, it will be an incredible just waste of energy. And right now, in our current situation on our planet, wasting energy is something we need to just not do. We need to try very hard not to do that. And because of the financial incentive, it is nearly impossible to get anybody to take that, make that decision and take that road and do it themselves. It's just one of the entropy amplifying aspects of the use of money. There's a whole a list of them, and probably even more that I have not discovered, that I've yet to discover. This whole thing with the people making money off war. War causes so much destruction, but for the weapons companies, right? They're banking off of that. They're making so much money off of that. They're amplifying the entropy of a system specifically to make money. But war is just like, I mean, a nuclear warhead, that is entropy incarnate. You set that thing off and that's like instant entropy. There's a lot more that goes into this. There's pathway dependence, pathway restrictions. There's state dependence and state restrictions when it comes to how an economy works, how money actually works, why money does what it does. I just thought I would make this quick little long video because it is one of the things that just irks me every single day. Every fucking day. It's something. Not just one thing. It's like a whole cascade of things. And in my mind, I'm consistently thinking that is directly due to the fact that the financial incentive exists in our world today. That is a direct result of that. And when I try to convince people that money and economics is an overlap, it fits right on top of physics and entropy and energy and matter and time and space. It's crazy. People are so beyond the capacity of perceiving the reality of that it's mind-numbing. I don't know what to tell those people, because I try to explain to them why money amplifies entropy, why money has a direct impact on energy and material exchange and interchange, why the pathway restrictions, when you set a monetary system into place, when you set an economic system into place, why the sudden collapse of available pathways in the pathway restriction itself requires energy, because you have to monitor the pathways to make sure that either the pathways that you have said not to use are not used, and the one pathway that you want the people to use is used. This includes putting up laws, hiring police officers to enforce those laws, right? We're restricting pathways, which in and of itself increases entropy. It is so out of control, and nobody wants to hear it. It just blows my mind. I think people are just scared. They're just afraid to hear that the one thing that their whole life has been built on. I mean, anyway, I'm out. This is way longer than I wanted it to be. Do take care. We'll get this shit figured out, guys. We're gonna get this fixed. All right, take care.